Hey folks, this is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Happy New Year, all that good stuff. Want to see how everybody's doing tonight. I'll cut some music off. Y'all probably listen to enough music tonight. Happy days. How are you doing, honey? Or sir? I don't even know. I don't want to misgender anybody. I'll get in trouble. But nice to see you. And I got some things I want to talk about tonight. As we go into the new year, what are we going to be looking out for? And I heard Biden was nervous. I got that in my title. And SCOTUS had an amicus brief filed. Red did a little story on it. I talked to him on the phone. I don't know if you all heard that yet. I didn't have a chance to listen to it. How you doing, Doc? How you doing, Tennessee? John, how you doing? So I've got a lot of different things I want to cover, and I'm going to wait till some people get in the chats. This Andrew Tate character, he's all in the news. Now, he got arrested, I think, like a week ago, and I was like, well, I think that's a publicity stunt because I heard him on some past broadcasts, and he was talking about little shorts where he did, stuff about that clothing store, Balenciaga, and things like that, was garnering a lot of attention. I don't know much about him, except he used to be a UFC fighter, and now he's got himself in some trouble. Hi, Colleen. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? So anyway, he's a story. He's a character. And let me flip this phone around here. I'm trying to figure out this other system on a different device. How am I coming in, folks? I hope it's coming in clear. And anyway, I want to start off. Let me see if I can play this recording here. Did you hear that Biden doesn't trust his Secret Service detail? How many of y'all heard that? It actually made Fox News. Good, we got some 5x5s. That's good. We got some 5x5s. Well, he's down in the Caribbean, and if you look at a map of that situation, he's not far from a certain place we all think he's going to end up anyway. Let me see if I can play this Fox News report.
President Biden is no longer trust his Secret Service agents and is accusing them of being MAGA Republicans and is refusing to discuss sensitive matters in front of them. The book even says Biden thinks agents lied about his dog attacking them, which made them have to send the dog away. Tyrus, do you buy this?
Why is this a bombshell? This is not a bombshell.
Expected?
Anybody who sees President Biden knows he's gone off the, I'm not a doctor, but like he sees ghosts, he wanders off, he thinks everyone's out to get him. This kind of reminds you of every old movie you've ever seen when someone's getting really old.
Yeah.
And he has unbelievable, fantastical hallucinations of people going after him. So,
I think it's tinfoil hat for sure. I mean, thinks that they're lying about his dog. That's a little crazy.
They might.
House of bomb.
So anyway, I don't know how well you can hear that, but Biden doesn't trust the Secret Service, and that was Tyrus on Fox News. He was saying, "I'm not a doctor, but everybody knows Biden's off his rocker." Hi, Aaron. How you doing? Hi, Melinda. Hi, Karen. Nikki B. How are you doing? So, hi, Kate. So that's odd. They had that story out right after Biden goes down to the Caribbean, and they flew his documents out there for this big omnibus bill for him to sign out there in the Caribbean. It's all very strange. I don't remember anything like that before ever happening, especially since the bill was all but ready for him to sign. He still took off for the Caribbean, so that's got a lot of people wondering. This is bizarre, to say the least. So anyway, I know that probably didn't come through very good, but I recorded it on a different device and thought it was just a brief short saying how he doesn't trust the Secret Service. He thinks they're MAGA Republicans. He thinks they lied about his dog attacking them. So that if that's verified, that's some pretty serious stuff for a president to be saying about a Secret Service detail. And for what we call the normies, or people that haven't been looking into the deeper parts of this stuff, it'd be a good time to remind him he's the only president that ever showed up for his inauguration on a private plane. The military didn't bring him like the other presidents, and that he brought his own security detail. How many was it? 2,000? Somewhere in that area of private armed security. Now, no president's ever had to do that. So anyway, now Red sent me this thing about a amicus brief, and he was curious as to what the import and the meaning of that was. Amicus brief supporting the Brunson filing, which, as we know, is going to be heard January 6th. That's another thing that's got people abuzz, is the scheduling. It is coinky-dink that's being done on January 6th. But my understanding of the situation is that the court agreed to hear this, and they could do a number of things. They can listen to or review it. All 9 of them there can review it, and they can say, well, this is nothing we can work with. We can throw it out. Or they can say, oh, we agree with you, the Brunson filing. Or they can say, well, we're going to send it back to the Congress. Or they could say, let's set it for a formal hearing. So there's a number of things that can happen. It's not like January 6th, we're definitely going to hear some kind of something, some resolution. Not necessarily. It might be something that gets kicked down the road. That's right. Nikki said, hit the thumbs up. Thank you. Subscribe and share. So anyway, this fella filed an amicus brief supporting a friend of the court. That's what it means. Somebody asked me, what does amicus means? And that comes from, it's Latin, and you think words like we'll have an amicable agreement. He was very amicable. So that comes from friendly. So this is what this is. And it's brief, it's short, and pretty to the point. I don't know if I can pull it up and read parts of it to you or not. But what it basically says is there was a question as to whether someone could be charged with the T word, as Trump has said in the past, treason, if they don't have weapons or violence is not used. And it refers to a filing or a case very early in our nation's history of the U.S. versus Burr, Aaron Burr, who was a former vice president of the United States and also is the individual who shot Alexander Hamilton. And many of you may know that, but for viewers that are tuning in and haven't kept up with history or been taught that in school, that's the bare bones of Mr. Burr, except for the fact that he tried to start his own country. And not a lot of people know that. He was taking the territory of Southwest Texas and part of California, I think. And at that time, it was he had the support of the King of Spain and a bunch of industrial magnates and moneyed people. and he was going to start his own country. So anyway, that's another story that you all can delve into. That was Chief Justice John Marshall, I believe, presided over his trial. So anyway, it was referred to in this amicus brief in that if a group of, they say men, we'll say people, a group of men come together in such a large amount or in such a way as to affect the desired overthrow of the government or unlawful change in the government, they don't necessarily have to be armed for it to be considered treason. And it's very interesting because they also rely on referring to the Federalist Papers, one of which they refer to as written by Alexander Hamilton. And you see there both the names there, and you know that that duel ensued and Aaron Burr killed Alexander Hamilton. And they're the two founding fathers that are mentioned in this document. It's just a little odd if you know the history. But the other thing that is needed is a conspiracy of these individuals. They don't have to be armed, but they have their actions need to be such that they want to overthrow the government by unlawful means, and that they have conspired to do so. So this brief is interesting. I read it. You can pull it up. It's not real long, but I referred to a term when I was talking with Red on the phone as dark horse. I said, I'm not going to get overly excited about this because I watch Viva Frey, and sometimes when things important pop up, or Rakita Law, something like that, if it did gain traction or merit attention, I don't want to get excited and think something's going to happen or not happen. And I said, it could be a dark horse. And he said, what do you mean dark horse? I guess I'm showing my age. That's an old political term, dark horse. Basically something coming from out of nowhere and winning, unexpected. An unexpected victory or good placement, namely a dark horse. And I'm thinking this amicus brief, this Brunson situation, the way it's being treated in the media, it could be a dark horse legal issue. I don't know. So anyway, very interesting, very interesting. Kingara, how you doing? Hi, Pamela, how are you? You've been watching the replays. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I heard that my night before last video about that Georgia election being overturned was a discussion on was it Trainwreck Travis, and maybe somebody else was discussing it. And I have noticed some bigger channels did videos today on that Georgia race that got overturned by that judge. And the thing to remember there is, even though it was a small county and a small race, the judge relied on state Supreme Court precedent that said one of the two things. All you need is one of two things, or both. Whatever the systemic problem was, if it was sufficient enough to cause doubt in the outcome, that's all you need. So, meanwhile, with that in mind, we know that Carrie Lake has filed her appeals, and she is not giving one little inch with her public appearances and public statements. She's turning up the heat. As a matter of fact, she's filed to appeal not only her loss, but to have her 8 other complaints, I believe it's a total of 10, to be heard, that the initial judge refused to hear. Not just the loss on the 2 points, but the 8 other points she's contesting. And also the fact that they only had 48 hours to come up with some kind of a case that was compelling enough to meet the standard that was wrongfully put forth by the defendant, saying this is not enough to show this affected the election. No, that's not the standard. What is the standard is the result in doubt. So that's all going to be going in front of some pretty sharp legal minds. And let's see, the Attorney General, the fellow who lost that race, has filed a stay to prevent the swearing in of the new Attorney General. So the request is for Abramovich to stay on as Attorney General. And as we all know, he was making very dark statements that I feel were directed directly at Katie Hobbs about winding up inside the tiger. If you ride the tiger to seek power, sometimes you wind up inside. So if Abramovich stays on as Attorney General during this, what I believe is going to be a new election, well, then the people who are tangled up in this situation might find themselves looking at troubles. So one thing's for sure is that her power, her base of power, is not going to be as solid as it was. In other words, if you've got people helping you to do this, and they start to feel that the heat is getting turned up, you'll see people jump ship. You'll see people jump ship. Now, what is their status going to be if there's a new election, or if there's a stay on the inauguration, which, that would be unusual, but that's what the Attorney General's seeking. So one thing, she wouldn't be a Secretary of State anymore, correct? Because that is an elected position also. Now, she was Secretary of State overseeing how everything went. Let me get a sip of my coffee. Isn't it so that after January 1st, she wouldn't be in that position anymore? But I can't imagine they'd leave the state governorless. So it'll be interesting to see what direction this thing goes. But the Attorney General is going to be a key in this thing. Whoever's going to be the Attorney General. Trillium, how you doing? Well, let me see. My chat's froze up. Can you all still hear me, I hope? I hope so. My goodness. There we go. Everything started moving now. I had a frozen screen. Hopefully y'all could hear me while it was frozen. I was talking and let's see. Who all's in here? What everybody's got to say? Karen, how you doing? Let's see. Didn't they? I got to watch those words. Ha ha. So it's going to be interesting. We've got quite a New Year's coming, and you have to remember that Bolsonaro, he should be with Mr. T. Mr. Dejancic, how you doing? Dejancic. How you doing now? That's interesting. And the thing about that situation with Bolsonaro's, I remember a report where somebody, one of the major news organizations, said that Chile had threatened to invade Brazil. And this was about a week ago. And I've looked for articles on that. And that is also something else that has been hushed. And I find that very interesting. So I checked it out. I did a search. And what did I come across? A Washington Post article saying the pink revolution or the pink tide was all but complete with Bolsonaro's loss. I believe that was October 31st. And it mentioned Chile, Peru, Argentina, and Brazil, saying it was a pink tide. So we all know what happened to the pink tide in Brazil after this article was written. The Peruvian president found himself in jail as the Congress voted to impeach him. The military declined to assist him in a proclamation dissolving Congress. And as he was leaving his offices in his presidential limo, they arrested him and took him to a local jail. And that's the last I've heard from that pink revolution individual. So this was after this article I found on the Washington Post talking about how the pink tide was almost complete. And it brought to my memory, as I talked in other broadcasts, the nations that Trump went to where I perceived the leaders of those nations either forming an alliance with or submitting to DJT. And one of those nations that he visited, or had the president visit him, I'll put it that way, was Argentina. So I don't believe the pink tide has fully engulfed Argentina. And when you look at the situation with Lulu, the successor, I guess he's going to be inaugurated. I guess they're going to go through his inauguration, and Bolsonaro's is going to be with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. He already announced that he was going to be replacing some top generals. So I'm not one for fantastic speculation, but I will engage in rational examination. Okay? If there were going to be anything militarily done, wouldn't it be safer for Bolsonaro not to be there? Protect him from potential arrest, an unlawful arrest. Just get out of Dodge and let the military handle it. I mean, the French in World War II, Charles de Gaulle, he fled France and returned after the defeat of the Third Reich. So I don't know. And they always talked about that Trump would be safe on or at AF1. So people, me included, we all get visions of him up in the plane flying around while things are going on to be safe. But also we find out later on that AF1 means alternate facility 1 and alternate facility 2 and so on. So Mar-a-Lago may very well be an alternate facility. And as some of you have noted in the chats, it's got some pretty serious bunkers in there as it was designed as a winter White House. So, and I had stated in my last broadcast that is probably one of the most secure locations on the face of the earth. And it's pretty close to a lot of Air Force facilities. So, as we know. Hi, Patriot Starfighter. Hi, Sparky's Run. Finding Dory, how are you? So, I hope everybody's doing okay in the chats. And as I talk, it's kind of hard to read and keep up with the chats. I may do, live streams in the future where I'll do a topic and then check out the chats and then go to another topic, kind of like Frank does on NPC. But mostly I get up here and just go on about the events of the day. Now, so we know we got these different things happening in the Arizona case, and we also know that there's a number of issues popping up in Georgia that I discussed yesterday. So, and then you have the Brunson case, and you don't know if there is going to be a dark horse case or dark horse issue. Nobody saw this thing with the Georgia county election being thrown out. Nobody saw that coming. That's what you call a dark horse. And the other thing is this fellow Andrew Tate, and I don't think a lot of them, but I think what he's doing is guttural. I'll get into that in a little bit, but what's happened with him and why it's important to even discuss it. First of all, it's something that everybody's discussing. And he has been putting out videos broaching subjects about exploitation, okay? How people put out their symbols and let people know what they're doing, because according to him, he says Satanists believe that if they tell you what they're going to do and you allow it, they really haven't committed a crime. If they don't tell you, he used a poison apple as an example. He said, if I give somebody a poison apple and don't tell them it's poisonous, the person takes a bite, then I can be accused of murder. But if I say, hey, I'm going to sell you this poison apple, and they go, okay, and buy it and eat it, that means they committed suicide. You see, so he's bringing the things like this up. Also, when the clothing store Balenciaga came out, he made a lot of comments about that. A lot of his interactions with people in the music industry and in the entertainment industry that are stepping on a lot of toes for those people who get involved in cult worship, I'll say, secret societies. So that's why I'm bringing him up. And like I said, he was arrested, I believe, a week or so ago and released. He's in Romania. Now, one thing that was a rumor going around was that just before he got arrested the second time, now I heard he's been rearrested again, so that would make it 3 times. But I'm talking about this episode of arrests right now, versus a week or 2 ago, was that he was doing a video and bringing up many of the things I'm discussing right now that was making people nervous, and that he put a pizza box in his video. And a lot of people were putting out there that that's how they discovered his location, was the name of the company that sold the pizza and all this stuff. And that's how they tracked him down and arrested him. It turned out that was a bunch of bunk and a counter information thing put out by Black Hats. But the reason to me it's notable for two things. I think the reason he put that box there was to bring back into everybody's consciousness about that. Well, I'm talking about a pizza box, and then the other word comes to mind is gate. Okay, and I can't say those two words together because it'll get, the machine will get me. So it was to bring that back into people's minds. But the other thing that I know for a fact, and not a lot of people remember, and a lot of you in the chats may remember, is this cult that was broken up where the heiress, she was worth millions, she was involved, she got sentenced to prison. The Seagrams, I believe it's Seagrams, heir was involved, and it's called Nexium. How many of you remember the Nexium cult? And the founder, or the big wheel, or whatever he's called, his name was Peter Nygard, Nygard. He was on the run for a long time. And if people aren't familiar with it, it's spelled Nexium, but for some reason they use a Roman version of U that looks like a V or a Roman numeral 5 in the last part of the name. But anyway, this person was on the run. They were trying to find him. He was in some Caribbean or I don't know where he was, but somewhere obscure. And what did he do? He ordered delivery pizza, and he used his credit card. And when you're on the lam and being looked for by Interpol, they arrested him within the hour from when he ordered that. And he was put up by a spy, basically, to give that number out, the credit card number out. Other than that, he'd been on the run for a long time. So it was kind of ironic to me to see that box there in the picture, but it is, to me, farcical. Although it does bring into the public consciousness a bunch of stuff we're all very concerned about. But what this person gets involved with is it lends itself to human trafficking. What is his name? Tate gets involved in. Now, I guess he feels he's superior or whatever because he is so smart, or he vets all the people that come and they do a fans only thing, which can be pretty grotesque, as you all know. It is, as far as I'm concerned, in a lot of cases, and I'm not saying everything Andrew Tate does or any individuals, but as we all know, this OnlyFans or whatever they call it is nothing more than cyber pornography. Okay? And a lot of these TikTok videos and a lot of this stuff going around is nothing but electronic burlesque. Okay? What we used to call back in the day hoochie coochie shows. All right? They're doing it for money. And a lot of it goes beyond a hoochie coochie show, if you know what I mean. So these people are surprised that they're being taken advantage of. I put in the comments when this was being covered on a live stream, I put in the comments, poor me. I signed up for OnlyFans and got pimped out. Surprise, surprise. Of course they're going to be pimped out. Of course they're going to be taken advantage of. Now, if there's people involved that are there against their will or not of a proper age, hey, I say some people need to go to jail, and for a very damn long time. But this individual himself, Andrew Tate, fine, he's got sports cars, he makes fun of Greta Van Susteren, he does whatever, but he is engaged, in my mind, in activity that I feel to be rejected. by people of faith and by people of civil society engage in that kind of behavior, and you're in another country like Romania, let me tell you, somebody wants to set you up, you're finished. Now, I heard that they rearrested him today. He got out and put a couple of tweets out, supposedly, is what I heard. But then I heard he's back in custody again. And let me tell you, I wouldn't want to be in a Romanian prison, okay? Especially if I was worth, according to him, many, many, many millions of dollars, all these sports cars, flashing money around. Hey, if they could set you up, they're going to do it, especially if you're running around exposing cults and secret societies and getting people high up in those said societies very angry at you. And you don't throw stones when you live in a glass house. How is what he's doing taking advantage of women or luring women with the idea of wealth and making a career and making money, and all they're doing is prostituting themselves electronically? What's so brilliant about that? What makes this person higher in stature than a pimp on the street? That's just my personal opinion. And the people involved, if they're old enough to know better and they get involved in that kind of thing and they get their reputations ruined and find themselves alone or in the company in their declining years of people of specious reputation, that's their problem. Okay. So anyway, we shall see what happens with this Tate person. I'll be surprised if he's walking free. But the way I look at it, you're in a foreign country, a poor country. The politics there is a flip of the coin, and there's a lot of people with a lot of money that don't like you. I don't know. I'd much rather be in America, but I got a feeling that a lot of the stuff he was doing would not be lawful in America. I don't know. I don't know all the details. Hi, Georgia. LA Silver Serves. How you doing? See who else is here. Oh, my screen's locked up again. Jiminy Crickets. Jiminy Crickets. It's moving now. Okay, sorry, folks. My screen locked up again. Okay, let's see who's here. So anyway, I don't know what your all's take is on that, but that's the big story as far as entertainment news. And isn't that something that we have to discuss, this kind of stuff in this day and age? Hey, if you're exploiting people, yes, it is way, way worse if they're young people, but that's all a pimp does. Okay, exploits poor people, or I don't need to tell you all what happens there. So he's not taking any high road with me as far as I'm concerned. I don't look at him as any kind of guru or anybody to look up to. So anyway, folks, I've been going on 40 minutes here. I was going to do a half-hour live stream, and wish y'all a Happy New Year, a safe and Happy New Year. But as I was saying with this situation with Biden, if you look at the map where he is near St. Croix, man, that's a stone's throw from Cuba, isn't it? A stone's throw. And as soon as he leaves the territory, Fox News came out with that report, and a lot of you didn't get to hear it. And it was where Biden was talking about he doesn't trust his Secret Service detail. Let me see. I could make sound a little better. I'll play it again. Play it again. Wait a minute. Let me see.
That President Biden is no longer trust his Secret Service agents and is accusing them of being MAGA Republicans and is refusing to discuss sensitive matters in front of them. The book even says Biden thinks agents lied about his dog attacking them, which made them have to send the dog away. Tyrus, do you buy this?
Why is this a bombshell? This is not a bombshell.
Expected?
Anybody who sees President Biden knows he's gone off the, I'm not a doctor, but like he sees ghosts, he wanders off, he thinks everyone's out to get him. This kind of reminds you of every old movie you've ever seen when someone's getting really old.
Yeah.
And he has unbelievable, fantastical hallucinations of people going after him. So,
I think it's tinfoil hat for sure. Thinks that they're lying about his dog. That's a little crazy.
They might.
It's not tinfoil hat. He is, that I think is a leak. And I'm sure there's a reason why he doesn't trust the Secret Service. Okay. A lot of this stuff is bubbling up about his trips to Delaware, who he's meeting while he's in Delaware. Does he have a skiff in Delaware where he's meeting with people that they're not keeping a record of? I guarantee you the Secret Service is keeping a record of it. And don't forget what I said. Well, a lot of you may not have been subscribed at the time, but I said to remember something called Castle Rock, and that the Secret Service is in charge of tracking international money laundering. Okay? So, yeah, he doesn't trust the Secret Service, I'm sure. And the other thing I had to talk about in the other live stream, I ran out of time, is that Donald Trump is suing, and I understand this personally, suing members of the Pulitzer Prize board, the board members, for giving those awards to journalists. He's suing them for slander, okay, libel, because they gave an award to these people for things that were proven lies, and they will not retract the awards. So let's see how they handle that. Okay, you got a billionaire that's going to sue you because you libeled him. And I don't think the Pulitzer Prize organization is going to want to or can even afford to defend these people. And they will have to answer individually. That, in my mind, that would be the best scenario. And you want to talk about somebody having to bring back their Pulitzer Prize? That would be that'd be the way to do it. Hit them right in the pocketbook. So anyway, now the other thing I had that I didn't get into in the live stream was these power stations that are being attacked. Now I haven't heard of any new ones. Now some of you all are keeping your ear to the ground, and I don't know if there's been any more attacks over the last couple of days. Okay, Ozzy. Have fun. Anyway, if you all have heard any power grid attacks, I wanted to bring up another point about those power grid attacks. Is that it could be multi-purpose, in that if they want to push for another reason to prohibit people's right to keep and bear arms, they can use that by saying, look how many times we've been attacked, just by somebody with a gun. So let me just check through here. Hi, Richard. Sparky's Run. How you doing? Hi, Lori. Hi, Deb B. How you doing? Crimson. got a lot of new people in chats. That's good to hear. I want to thank my new subscribers. I had about 4 or 5 people leave. I think when I put that picture of Nancy Pelosi up with Zelensky, and it was a little racy and disgusting, I think some people dropped me, but then I had about, I don't know, 10 more take their place. So it's about a 15-person swing there. Hi, Pete. How you doing? So wait a minute. Let me check that again. I haven't got my strong spectacles on. Okay, Pete, we don't use the F word, okay, buddy? Use a letter in place so we don't have the strong language, okay? I appreciate it, buddy. So anyway, I just want everybody to think about that Second Amendment argument that they might be throwing up there about those power station attacks. So anyway, I'm just trying to see what everybody's talking about. As long as it's no F words or anything like that, everybody. Okay. Yeah. What I tell people, what does somebody want to reference to? Yeah, I don't allow links in my comments, and I'm not a link monkey. You know, if I could sit there and look up in 2 minutes, if I could look up Chile threatening to invade and come up with that Washington Post article, other people can do it too. I mean, I'm not a link monkey. It's like that old joke. Let me Google that for you. You know, everybody's got their own fingers and they can look up stuff on their own. And I don't talk out of school about stuff I don't know about, you know? So somebody says, sources. When you argue with a liberal, the first thing you say, what's your sources? My sources are my brain and my eyes and my ears, okay? And when I talk about something, it's something I have firsthand knowledge of, okay? So, and anybody that's a Democrat or liberal is welcome in these chats. I'd be happy to engage in conversations with them. I just ask people to be civil and not to use foul language or keywords. Yeah, that's right, Richard. Richard was saying infrastructure was attacked in the U.S. during World War II. And I tell you, I've got a book that was published called Sabotage. And I've got a copy of a letter in that book of a guy who worked at a factory, and he bought the book for his boss to go through. And it was talking about World War II and how domestic factories, rail stations, stuff like that could be targeted. Mountain Man 2, that just says like my sources as I made it up. What sources? What are you talking about, Crimson? I'm talking about my brain, what I hear and see, okay? What I hear and see is Joe Biden saying, you don't get the $1 billion till the prosecutor that, by the way, is investigating my son gets fired. And son of a B, they fired him. Ha, ha, ha. That's what I heard. Okay, I heard with my ears the man say it himself. So, you know, it's crooked. Dirty is what they call it. Dirty. That's right. Yoons, if I'm pronouncing that correct. They're very quiet for 81 million. They're very quiet. They're out there. They're real quiet. They're called silent majority. Don't put any keywords in getting me in trouble now. So, no, I did hear that. And what, you know, anybody, if they think what's happened to Mr. T over the years with the attacks, the accusations. If they think that's fair, that I don't think they're being very reasonable, or they're treating Mr. Trump very fairly, or they're not respecting the office of the presidency. He did a fantastic job with the Abraham Accords, with the economy, okay, with the unemployment, with our energy independence. It's just a stellar record that more than rivals Ronald Reagan's. I mean, it tops what Ronald Reagan did. And so the attacks were relentless and coordinated by the media. I mean, everybody has seen, well, maybe not now. Maybe by now everybody's seen, but not in the past. But by now, everybody should have seen the videos where they show the entire screen full of different news agencies, different news stations, just a bunch of them up there like Hollywood squares, all of them saying the exact same prepared statement. So many of us know and have known for a long time, because we go to sites that are not controlled by the three-letter agencies like the F.B.I. the C.I.A. We go to other sites and we see the truth. We see every news station parroting the same BS, which has been proven to be false. So that's the sources we use. And as you go, I don't pick on people in the chats, but I do address people in the chats. I'm just saying, if you go and you watch, take a look at Elon Musk's Twitter thread, okay? When he put out the picture of Nemo, or whatever his name was, in the Matrix, okay? They're all showing you what is going on that has been kept from you. Simon, I just talked about Andrew. I spent about at least 20 minutes on him, didn't I, folks? That I heard he was rearrested. I heard they let him out. Now, I'll just let you know, Simon, that I did bring it up because he got arrested a couple weeks ago, or over a week ago, and was released. And he said he wasn't arrested. He was detained and questioned. And then they came and got him again. And then he was supposedly out and tweeting. Now I heard about an hour ago, or about a half hour before I went live, was that they say they picked him up again, and that the prosecutor in Romania, is where he is, has requested that a court authorize them to detain him for 30 days pending their investigation. That's what I heard. I didn't read that from a news agency. I heard that from another creator that was reading an article, and I was preparing for this broadcast, so I don't have the details beyond that. So that, I will say, is rumor. But as far as Joe Biden withholding $1 billion to make sure the prosecutor investigating his son got fired, I heard that right out of Joe Biden's mouth. Okay? And I also heard out of Rudy Giuliani's mouth that he has tracked money through Luxembourg and other countries directly into the Biden account, a sum amounting to $900,000. And we all know that the big guy gets 10%. Okay? Now, those things I know are fact, that they're laundering money and stealing and engaging in what's the word Elon Musk uses? Exploitation. I'll put it that way. Exploitations of young people, which is a terrible offense. So we know those things are happening. It's going to be put out before the world, and people that hate Trump for whatever reason, I mean, at some point they got to take the petty reasoning because he's rude, or everything they said about him was proven to be false. The Charlottesville statement was doctored. That was, they played the whole tape where he said, "I'm not talking about the white supremacists. I'm talking about the people protesting the statue." He said there are good people on both sides of the statue issue. And he said, "I'm not talking," and they edited that part out. That was criminal, the way they did that. And what he said about women, he said they will let you grab them. They let you. And that got blown out of where he said that he actually does that. He runs around doing that. Just all a bunch of lies. And when people take it off and run with that and ingrain it in their brain as adults, and don't step back and say, okay, I got to give this guy a little slack. They don't want to do that. They're immature. At the very least, they're immature. Okay. At worst, they're crooked individuals, intellectually crooked. If they can't admit that Trump does not run around grabbing women, never said he ran around grabbing women. He said they let you. When you're a billionaire, they will let you do that. He said, "I'm not talking about the white supremacists. I'm talking about the people that wanted to keep the statue up and the people that wanted to tear the statue down. There were good people on both sides." And they edited it out. And if other than that, what else they got? That he had 2 scoops of ice cream when everybody else got 1. His salt and pepper shaker was taller than everybody. It's time to get rid of this childish nonsense. And think about what he's done for our economy, done for our nation: oil independence, fuel independence, peace with the Abraham Accords, no soldiers lost, the end to the endless wars, good economy, people having jobs. And look at the man that way. And as adults and Americans, it's time to take that meta narrative and listen. I would, if I was proven to be running around, somebody proved to me that I was running around saying things that were untrue about any person, much less the President of the United States. If somebody showed me, "Hey, listen, Mount Man, you have been saying things about this person that are wrong, and you've been repeating them like they're truth," I would be ashamed of myself. I would apologize, and I would be throwing rocks at whoever got me to do that. Whoever suckered me into running around repeating lies, I'd be throwing rocks at them. Okay? And that's the way some of these people that are hating Trump, hating patriots who are wanting to make this country great again, they need to start thinking, who made me run around talking a bunch of nonsense? Okay? Just like that young girl, that woman that grabbed that reporter, what was his name? He was he's on InfoWars. I forget his name, but anyway, Owen Schroyer. This girl walks up and says, "Well, how would you like it if I did this to you?" And she grabbed him, okay, in his crotch. Because in her brain, Donald Trump runs around grabbing women when he never said that. So what happened to her? She ended up getting charged, okay, for an offense, S-E, and then the next letter is X, okay, offense. And she has to register as offender for what she did, acting like a fool. And, hey, how much of a fool do people want to be before they start getting mad at the people who made them act like fools? Donald Trump never made me act like a fool. He didn't make me run around here talking lies about other people. He didn't make me get to the point where I'm riding around in a car with some goofy political uniform on my face. Looking like a fool. Now that's who, all these people who wasted their summers being afraid of their own shadow. Okay? People who laid in bed saying that Donald Trump, he goes around grabbing women and he's for white supremacists and taking your energy and burning it up with lies and making yourself angry over nothing, over lies. How much of your precious time did you spend doing that? Let me tell you, whoever lied to you and misled you, that's where your anger should lie with, not with us. I'm not talking to any specific person in the chats. I'm talking to anybody who has spent the last 2 years believing that old degenerate and criminal that's wandering around the Oval Office deserves to be there and has not committed serious offenses and have bought into that horse shit that I talked about just a minute ago. Okay, because it's going to go down in the history books that one side was right and one side was wrong. Okay, one side made fools of themselves and one side didn't. So anyway, I said a wordy dirt. Y'all know I don't like doing that, but I got myself worked up and I'm sorry. So that means I've gone over an hour. That's when I get cranky. I'm like a little kid. I get cranky. And I got cranky and I said a wordy dirt. Who you talk to, CM? I don't know you. I sound like I need to be on a ventilator. And then you took the Lord's name in vain. So, all right. All right, folks. So anyway, well, I hope you all are ready. We got an hour and 43 minutes. It's going to be a new year, right? A brand new year. Is everybody ready? Let me see what's going on in the chats. Ozzy. Who are these people talking to? Yeah, I need a Snickers. Aaron, he put was that a Hershey's Kiss, Aaron? Yoons, bro, they will cancel you. That's right. I'm just reading the chats, folks. I can only go back so far. But anyway, I'm glad I didn't waste my life running around looking a fool. I guess Ozzy did, Yoons. Me, AM 8000. Cannot see your face. Nope. Breaking news. Biden won the 2024 election. Okay. What's the matter, Nikki? Okay. Okay, Aaron, I see what you said there. Diplomat 24 says They snatched up Andrew Tate, Assange, redacted files from Epstein. Ghislaine Maxwell is a ghost. Well, that all sounds very interesting. Okay, folks. So anyway, I hope you all have a great New Year's and a safe New Year's. And I will be going live. I don't know when, but if you subscribe, you'll know when I go live. You'll be notified. So I look forward to seeing everybody again in the future. And this is Mountain Man, over and out.